Hi, and a very warm welcome to Wellbeing Mission Control. I'm Greg Parry, I'm a wellbeing specialist. And if you had to name one ingredient in life that can really transform your entire experience, what do you think it would be? People come up with some really interesting ideas, but I would like to suggest one word, one concept, one idea that could really sow the seeds of the most extraordinary transformation in your life. And the word is acceptance. And it's an unusual word because sometimes we associate acceptance with a sense of resignation, that we just have to put up with things because we can't change them, whether that's a situation or people. But I think acceptance has a much more dynamic role to play in our lives. And the word has such an amazing power of potential when you apply it to yourself, when you develop a sense of self-acceptance that once it's introduced into your daily routine, once it becomes an integral part of your experience, your life is going to change forever. And it begins physically. It begins by learning to look in a mirror. I know not everybody's comfortable with that. Looking in a mirror and smiling. Learning to extend a sense of gratitude and acceptance for the miracle of our bodies, because they tend to put up with a lot of abuse, and yet for the most part they keep on functioning. When you deliver this kind of powerful acceptance towards yourself, towards this physical frame that you inhabit, your body responds. It can have an extraordinarily positive impact on your health and well-being. I'm not kidding. This is interesting stuff. But when you extend the same level of acceptance towards your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, your past, especially the mistakes and errors, all the terrible things we've done wrong. Yeah, I know, it's usually a huge list. But the moment you can accept that that is what happened, that's how you are, it gives you a tremendously strong platform for introducing any changes that you'd like to make to how you think and feel and behave. Because acceptance tends to remove a lot of the deeper resistance that we cultivate in the course of our lives. These attitudes towards ourselves can often be quite harmful. They can block the experience of inner peace and calm and happiness, creativity. You can get in the way of success in any way that you want to measure that particular quantity. But as you learn to smile, as you learn to accept yourself as a fantastic starting point for any changes you want to work on within the scope of your own life, the moment you extend that sense of acceptance to others, it's going to have the most extraordinary impact on the quality of your relationships. I would argue that being in the presence of unconditional acceptance is one of the most beautiful experiences we can ever encounter. I know, it's pretty rare. We tend to see people through a series of filters that condition the way that we understand them or see them. In fact, most of the time we're just projecting what's already in our own hearts. But if you can remove some, if not all of those barriers, your connection to other people, whether they're strangers or people who are closer to you in your personal entourage, your connection will become deeper and more profound. And you might be surprised at the positive impact on the quality of how you connect to everyone. It begins with ourselves, learning to accept ourselves, and then learning to accept others. Now I want to make a very clear distinction here, because this can be a little bit confusing. Accepting people is an extremely positive thing to do. You don't have to accept behavior. We're not exactly the same as our behavior. It's a very important point to take on board. We don't have to accept inappropriate behavior. We can challenge it, or we can refuse to accept it, or we refuse to participate in inappropriate behavior, while still offering acceptance to the individual. Those are very important distinctions. What do you think? If you can begin by looking in the mirror and smiling, if you can begin by just developing this sense of acceptance, it often makes us laugh because we see how absurd we often are. We take ourselves far too seriously. And this sense of acceptance creates a beautiful foundation for so much more in the realm of better health, deeper sense of well-being, developing that inner core of peace and happiness that I would argue is very close to the natural human condition. If you've got any comments or observations you'd like to share, you know I love to hear from you. So let's begin this personal revolution in terms of our well-being, our happiness, and opening up our potential for a much better way of living. And I look forward to being back with you soon. And please, have a wonderful day.